Hi, my name's Eileen from Craic NI. I'm delighted to join our panel today. Members from Indian background. We've had Lata Sharma, Anil, Dolly Mishra, and Kamini. I'm here hosting this to support Sanjay Ghosh at ImageNation NI. We're going to have a really interesting and varied discussion about why our members are here today in Northern Ireland. So today I'm going to look at, first of all, our names. Our names are really important. They're individual to ourselves and very diverse. So would anyone like to tell me about your name and why it came about?
Okay, so my name's Lata, and my dad decided to call me that. I have no idea. I know that in Indian culture we have a thing about horoscopes, so they relate the time and the date of your birth to the stars, and then they give you a name according to what they think the letter of the alphabet that they feel that's fallen on. So mine was L, and I know Dad like Lata Mangeshkar. Who's obviously a massive singer within the Indian community, in Bollywood, and has been, completely devoted to music. I don't think she ever got married, actually. But the name means, I tried to ask my dad that. He used to tease me, because you can say Lata, which means legs. But then you say Lata, which means, I think it's named after a plant. Right?
Yeah.
I think it's named after a plant, and it's one of those ones that sort of like, attaches itself to a wall and moves upwards like an ivy. So it's something like that. I have no idea why he thought to call me that, but apart from the fact that he also liked the name because of Lata Mangeshkar, so that's how I ended up with the name. And importantly enough to me, whenever I got married, and I got married to a local guy, I wanted my children all have Indian names, because obviously they're going to be localized anyway. So to be able to hold on to some part of their heritage, I felt it was important to give them an Indian name as well.
And how did you choose their names?
Now, I couldn't do the whole horoscope thing because, married to a Gora, can't do that. So it had to make sure that he was happy with the names. So Indra's name came along because it was a friend. It's heard an Irish friend actually who liked the name and remembered Indira Gandhi. So we decided on that. And you were saying earlier about yours being an old name, Eileen. Well, actually, Indra's a very old name too. But that's why one of the reasons why I liked it, and it meant little goddess. Well, just a specific goddess, but I liked it because it's goddess, because she was our firstborn. Our second one was Priya, and that was my husband's sister came up with that one. Which means little darling. And my son Daresh, we came up with that name because my husband liked the sound of it when he did an impersonation of your man 007, Sean Connery. And when he said it, Daresh, he kind of went, oh, I like the sound of that, so we're going to have a Daresh. So I didn't do it the traditional way, but my husband loved the idea of giving our children Indian names, because again, coming back to Northern Ireland, it was nice to be able to not identify them by either side of the community here, and throw that little bit of confusion in with the McCarthy on the end. So that was quite nice. So that's one of the reasons why the names came along.
Really exciting. And you ended up being a singer, which we'll talk about later.
God, yeah.
And yes, you definitely are a plant that keeps on climbing higher. Really good career, and you told me that you'll be working in theatre next year with Liverpool, so definitely there. I love the names of the children: Little Darling, Little Princess, and oh wow, Bond. So I'll go on to Simi. Could you tell us about your name and how it was chosen, Simi?
Well,
been here 17 years.
Yeah, I born in 1979, so those times, and especially I'm from Kerala, so it's the south part of India. There is particularly nobody really looked for much meanings or anything those days. Like there is so much common names. S was quite familiar names those time, like Sini, Suni, like those kind of, Sandhya, those kind of names were quite popular. So my mommy's sister just said, we can put her name with a S, but just need to be a bit quite similar, but it's different. So that's why then she chose the name Simi. you know, because there was lots of Sini, Suni, you know, those kind of names there. So she chose Simi for me. That's what my mom told me anyway. But there is no particular meaning on it, you know. So then it's there. Just my full name is Simimol baby. So it's that time it was a tradition. All the girls will have Mol along with their names. You know, like Mol means small. You know, that's the main. You know, like a so it's they all call me Simimol. So it's Simimol baby. Baby is my father's first name. So in Kerala, that was our tradition. Our surname belongs to our father's first name. Or some people take our house names, you know, like that's the way also does. My husband's actually surname is actually his house name, Kavalai. But mine is my father's first name. So all our names will be, my name is Simimol baby, my sister is Silly baby and Sanish baby, you know, so that's the way. That's the way. But once you get married, usually you will take your husband's first name as your surname, you know, so just change your name. So I'm supposed to be, that's why you will see Anil. My husband's first name is Anil. But I didn't change, officially I didn't change my name. It's only in the social media, it's only Anil. But officially I didn't change my name. I still kept Simimol baby everywhere on certificates and all professional, everywhere. That's my name. So that's all about my names. I don't see any big history or anything behind it.
No, it's really interesting that
yeah, because in India it's every other state, every states they have their own cultural. See, that's it's all multicultural in India, even though it's one country.
I'm really impressed that you kept your own name. I just think that's brilliant. Because when I got married, I refused to sign my husband's name, and because I thought, nope, I'm just going to stick to Sharma. And you know, I use it when it suits me, like for insurance and all that sort of thing. But you know, for all the wise reasons.
I just kept it on just purely, and my husband actually wouldn't mind either, you know. So then it's all hassles. You have to change the passport, certificates, everything you have to change. And I just thought, why would you? I was Simimol baby, and everybody know me as a Simimol baby. Even if without changing the name, my husband knows I am the wife, so it doesn't matter. The marriage certificate is there anyway, in case of any proof. So I didn't change it.
And you, before we started, we had strong, independent women. This just shows it. So I'll take it on to a very strong woman in the community, Dolly Mishra, who's been around with us for a while. So how did you get your name, Dolly?
Well, I really can't. I can't tell you that answer because my parents gave me the name Dolly. But as you know, India was under British for a long, long time, 200 years or something, maybe more. So few names are quite similar. Dolly, Molly, Julie, and Tony, man's name. There are quite a few British names were there. So I can't tell you why they called me Dolly. I probably look like a doll or something. Anyway, but I am known as Dolly. I was known as Dolly in India. And my parents called me Dolly, my brothers, sisters, when I was in the college. And I was in the known as Dolly everywhere. So when I came to this country, it suited me very well. You know, it is easy for them to call just Dolly, so I am known as Dolly.
Very good.
So, shall I tell my story how I landed in Northern Ireland? Yes.
Kamini the.
Yes. I have come from India is a very big country, very vast, as you all know. I have come from the eastern coast of India. And the province is called Odisha.
Oh, right.
Like Simi has come from Kerala. Kerala is in the south, and I have come from the east. So I'm Odia, from Odisha, so I'm Odia. So my husband came here in 1960, and I came and joined him in 1961, and he was a doctor. His first job was in Wales, And he was young, I was young, and in 60s, if you think the country was like this, no, it was not. It was completely different. It was completely different, not like that. So before I came, I thought, oh, I'm going to a, nice, beautiful country, and like that. I was looking forward so much. But really, it took me a long time, long time to settle down here. But I had to get on and get used to everything. When I came, the climate was different. I found the climate was different. The food was different. The dress, clothes, everything was different in 60s. And the things were not, as I said, there is no, it was not a poor country, but it was not as developed as now. We are in Wales, in a small town. It is called coal mine, lots of coal mines. Welsh people are nice and all that. So we lived there only 1 year, then moved to England because junior doctors, they needed some different kind of experience. So they had to move 6 months, 1 year, 6 months, 1 year, like that. So we came to England in 1962. Then we are maybe moving from Blackburn, from Lancashire to Midland, Birmingham, then south of England. Then eventually we came to Northern Ireland in 1970.
Bloody hell.
And,
Come here.
and people were in England were saying, Doctor, are you mad? You are going to Northern Ireland? I said, he said, what's wrong with Northern Ireland?
The troubles?
There was a war is going on. What war? And no, it was a war between Protestant and Catholic. Until then, since 1970, I didn't know what was the difference between Protestant and Catholic.
Exactly.
I knew that all Christians, they're all one. I never knew there are two communities that are fighting with each other. So my husband said, oh, let us go and try my luck there. Then he came here in 1970, and we lived in a very small town, which is called Limavady. Probably some of you will know. Limavady,
like 45 minutes away from me.
Lata, you will know Limavady.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Near Coleraine. It is a small town, and it was not very developed there. Now Limavady is all different. In 1970, a small community hospital. And my husband just loved it. He loved the hospital because he was the only one resident doctor. And he liked the people, he wanted the people, everything. But I did not settle down. I was pining to go home. I said, no, I can't settle here. I want to go home. Because he was a casualty doctor. He was very busy. He was not coming home in the night time. He had to stay in the hospital. And I had one son, daughter. They are going to school. And they were coming back from school. Oh, mommy, we are sent back because there were bomb scare in the school. There is a bomb in the school.
Oh,
we are sent back. It was 1970. So it was very frightening, very frightening. We are so scared to go out and everything. Then I was very unsettled. I said, please, I want to go back. I want to go back. I was writing letters to my parents, crying, I want to go back. And my parents advised me, Dolly, look, you try to settle down. Give some time. You may like it. Then slowly, gradually, I realized that Irish people are so nice. They're even, I can tell you frankly now, they're even better than English and Welsh and Scottish.
Yep.
Irish people are very, very friendly. They welcome me so well. They made me settle down in Limavady.
Yeah.
Because at that time, women, they stay at home. Most of them, we are all housewives. You know, some of them professional people that are going out to work, but they call me to their house for coffee mornings, for evenings, for here, there. Dolly, do you want to go here? Do you want to go there? And I was not driving then. I made friends. They really made me settle down in Limavady.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And in Limavady, I liked it. I liked it so much. We lived there for 30 years, and 1972 millennium. That was our home. Limavady was my home. And don't forget, I was the only Indian people in Limavady at that time. Miss Lata might know Miss Chada.
Yes.
Purani Chada.
Sanjay.
Yes, she was there. But we are the only, you can say, only Indian family. My children never saw Indian people because who will come to Belfast? Because
Well, the thing is, back then there were so few of us, but it must have been unusual for Kamini because you're obviously mixed as well, and that must have been interesting for you, Kamini.
Well, like there's not a lot of, and then there's only like one other Indian family here in
because
Sudan.
my children never saw Indian. If my daughter will see some Indian, she will say, Mommy, look, some, you know, when we come to Belfast, not in Limavady, when we come to Belfast, she will say, Mommy, look, that is Indian. I said, don't be rude now. You know, she didn't realize. You are surprised to see some other Indian people can exist. Then we could come to Belfast often because Bob's scared. You can go to the shops. They have to search your handbag, this, that, they will take your car. If you can park the car, you can take your car to the city center. You have to go far away with them. So much, you know. So that was out of the window. There was no temple nowadays. You know, I cannot tell you the difference between life now and life then. Because our children, Lata will know, Lata is another generation. Because my generation, second generation, they say, what? Was it like that? Was it like that? Was it like that? When in 1960, when I came, there was no washing machine. And there was nothing, no central heating. We had to do
Excuse me, can I just interrupt before we go on about washing machines? Just very quickly, I didn't get to hear. Kamini, what about your name? How did you come up with how did you end up with your name? Because I missed that.
Oh, sorry. No, I didn't want to interrupt.
No, I know.
No, but my name was chosen the same way as yours was, through an astrologist.
Right.
The day I was born, my dad was actually playing cricket. So that was more important. His cricket match was more important. So he sort of like told my mum, how laugh as long as you can. So he was playing cricket in Derry, which wasn't so bad. So when the cricket was over, he was able to scoot over to the hospital in Altnagalvin, where I was born, and I didn't have a name, I don't think, for maybe 3 or 4 weeks. Because they sent like everything away to the astrologer, like the time and the date and stuff like that, and then mine came back as letter K. So
and how did your mum feel about you having your name?
She loved it though. Like my mum embraces like the Indian culture so well.
Yeah.
Like Daddy would like do pujas and stuff with us, and like she would do it as well. Like my whole Irish family, they all like we celebrate Diwali and stuff together. We have been doing it for years. Like all my small cousins, they've all got Indian clothes. Like so, it's like water up a duck's back now. If you know what I mean. Like it's just normal to our family for them, but. No, my mum loves it. My name's Kamini. All our state, we've all got Indian names. Me, my brother, and my sister. Yeah. My sister's called Divya. My brother's called Suresh. So your son's called Suresh. My brother's called Suresh.
Oh, that's lovely.
So we've all got Indian names, but all the rest of them, my brother and sister, they look like nobody would actually think that I was Indian. Only people in Strabane know my name's Kamini and that my dad's Bobby. I have blue eyes. And the only like Indian thing about me is my dark hair. My brother and sister, they both have brown eyes and they're so tan, and they've both got black hair as well. Whereas I'm like I'm definitely my mum's. I got the Irish genes 100%.
See, I think you look very Indian, actually. I'm
Well,
actually looking at you through the screen and I'm going, have you got...
But compared to the other two, I don't. And when you see the other two, that when we saw like get family pictures and stuff, like you can see a difference. Like
Right.
I look exactly like my mum. I've got blue eyes like my mum, and then the other two are just my dad and the sod. Like they've got the Indian temper too as well.
It's funny because you're saying about the colour. My kids, my husband's very white, right? I mean, annoyingly so that I have to put factor 50 on him. So my eldest daughter is of the same colouring as him. And then my other two, my second one, she's a wee bit darker, and then my son's a wee bit. So we're like a wee colour chart.
Yeah.
You know, colour chart you get for your paints in different shades. I'm like the darkest, and then it works its way down, and my husband's on the other end. So it's lovely because I honestly do think you look very, very Asian. Even though I mean, I'd love to see your blue eyes up close. I'm sure they're gorgeous.
This isn't what they're.
No, still can't see them properly.
No.
I'll try and
I'll find a family picture and send it to you, and then you'll see.
Oh, get me on Facebook.
What the other two are definitely like you can just spot a mile off that they're far more Indian looking than what I am. Even when we go over to India, they're like all my cousins are like, why do you have blue eyes? I'm like, I don't know.
Nilu Kandena. Nilu means blue. Nilu is henna.
Neela, yeah.
Yeah, it means blue.
I can't speak any Hindi. My dad didn't teach any of us.
No, my kids don't either. But then your dad probably should have, because at least he was born in India. It was much more difficult for me because I think in English. So I find it really difficult to, even though I can speak Punjabi, I find it difficult to speak it with my husband here. And then I think it's my first language is English. Whereas when you're older generation, like my parents and like Dolly G, you kind of know that they think in Punjabi or Hindi, right? Whereas I think in English, so I find it really difficult to pass the language on to my children.
Yes.
You know,
I know that's the one thing. Like we always say, like, why did you not teach us?
Yeah.
But he was never like
he wasn't around. He was too busy playing cricket.
It's true. It's actually true. And now he's got all the time in the world. So we're like, because he's retired now. So we're like, so teach us now. And he's like, no, I'm too tired. I'm too tired.
Eileen, what's the next question?
Well, the next question, I was really interested to hear all your names and you give a bit of your background, and I just would like to ask for you, what was your favorite memory of India or anything to do with Indian culture? I know that Kamini and Lata weren't brought up in India, but Dolly and Simi are. So what connection do you have with India? What's your favorite memory of it?
Who's this to? Sorry.
All of you.
Yes. Who do you want to go first? How do we?
I think we'll start with Simi. What's your favorite childhood memory of India? Or
well, if you talk about childhood, everything is fully memorable. Like you never go back to that childhood. Whenever you are in that age, you never remember. You never realize that's the best time you are passing. But like when you look back, yeah, that was the best time. In India, in my house, like family, like I have a younger brother and sister, so I was the eldest one. So we are like an average family. So the memories, like Onam, we have South India have a festival called Onam. And then Christmas, we celebrate Christmas. So all those festival times are the most memorable time. If I look back, like for the Christmas time, we go to the church and we got new dress for the Christmas to go to the church. And then we have a big feast and the Christmas dinner, as we called, like at home with all families, and my mummy's family, you know, sisters, and they will be coming, and all relatives will be gathered together. And we have, that's all our memories from the Christmas in India. When you think about in the midnight mass, we are going to midnight to the church for a mass and everything, Jesus' birth celebration. But when we come to Northern Ireland, it's the whole Christmas things is all changed. Nobody really talking about Jesus anymore. Everybody's talking about Santa, presents, gift, and that was really a change for me. So whenever the Christmas comes, I always think about our childhood Christmas in India, you know, like in Kerala. And same like Onam also, we have a big celebration in Kerala. We have a flower arrangements and big in banana leaves, sadhya for Onam and everything. It was a great memories, you know. We're all, those times, you know, no mobiles, nothing, families are very close and we play all the time, all the neighbors.
Do you believe in Santa in India? No, or did you
No.
celebrate
Well,
it?
in Christmas we have a Santa Claus, but we only just, Santa Claus just comes and gives some sweets. That's all in India that time. But nobody just bring, I know we get the gifts, but our parents buy the gift, and we all know that the parents buying the gift, and nobody says that the Santa is bringing. That's all I heard when I came here.
Yeah.
You know, in India. But maybe it's now, but not that time anyway.
You should have told your children that you have an Indian Santa that doesn't do all the stuff that we do.
Actually, believe it or not, they actually knew. I know my friends from here says, "Oh God, Simi, that's cruel. You shouldn't say that." But that's the reality. They knows that anyway. You know, like because sometimes, in my opinion, the children should know that's not coming from. So they should know what their parents can afford, so they can ask for the gift. It's not that. They just think that Santa is buying, so what's the problem? You cannot get it, you know, like so I think
it's just a cultural difference.
It's a cultural difference.
You know, like Santa here has always been a priority. And it's funny, coming from an Indian family, I mean, my parents bought into it, and I got Santa presents until one day I noticed my brother's writing and recognized his handwriting on it. You know, it was to Lata from Santa, be a good girl. And I went, that's my brother's writing. I recognize that. So it was the first time I realized. But here, culturally, it's so important to people here for their children to really believe in Santa and believe in the Tooth Fairy. So that's quite interesting that you came over and it was such a shock to you.
But believe it or not, you know, like my kids also, you know, I'm not saying that I do buy the gift as well, but it's not like I don't spend like you know, like loads of hundreds or thousands of pounds for Santa gift or anything, but they get the gifts, you know. So we do still celebrate, and we just go with the flow. Wherever you are, you have to go with the flow. Definitely. So you just follow that.
Isn't that lovely, Eileen?
Yeah, so what's your fond memory of? Have you been to India, or you know?
Well, I was in India. The first time I went to India, I was about 2 years old. We were there. I think my mum took us. 4 of us were supposed to go out, and unfortunately my sister couldn't go because she had an accident, and she was left behind, and always has regretted the fact that she was left behind, because when me and my 2 brothers went out, that's where I learned to speak Punjabi. I actually came back from India not being able to speak English because I was surrounded by the language of Punjabi in India, and I went to see my grandparents, and I have very little memory of it. There's just a few wonderful things I remember, and one of them was we went up this massive mountain. Dolly G will know where it is, but it's like a massive mountain we had to climb up to, like a pilgrimage.
Yes,
I went up there, and I also remember my Mataji, which was my dad's mum, and she used to try and she was big into sugar. And I remember my dad telling me she used to buy these massive bags of sugar in the days when that's how you did your shopping. And she used to make all the mithai and everything. So she was big into sugar, and I remember sitting on the floor, cross-legged, across from my grandmother, and she wanted me to drink hot milk with loads of sugar in it. Oh my gosh, it was awful. And I had to have this, I kept saying, name Anil, and I don't want it. And she was trying to make me drink it. So we came to the agreement that I would drink hot milk, but I ain't having sugar. So I actually love hot milk and no sugar. And it was down to my grandmother trying to force it down my throat. And she used to take me as well at night time to go and feed the ants in an ant hill. And I remember taking jol rice and feeding the ant hills, and they used to just come sprouting out of the hole to be fed. I don't know why she did it, but you know, that was one of the memories that I have, which is just lovely, because I have so little memories of India, because at the time when my parents came, you know, there wasn't the flights to go back out there, you know, 2 or 3 times a year. And you could, you know, it took a long time to save up enough money to go. There's people who are coming now, you know, like yourself, like Simi, and you can come and you're here 17 years, but I know people whose children go to the school where my children attended, and they say, oh, we're going out every 2 years, we go out and we see our family.
You do.
And I thought, oh my gosh, how lucky are you? Because that, I think, is my biggest regret, is that we were never able to build up the strong connections with our ancestors and our family, because our parents couldn't afford to take their 4 children and each other out to India every 2 years, never mind every 10 years, never mind every 2. So it was a very, very difficult time, and I can understand completely how awful it must have been for Dolly's generation.
Very difficult,
very, very good memories, and insofar as how little they are, but I loved it.
No, those memories, they resonate with me very much, Lata, because when I was very young and I was taken to Hong Kong, obviously I didn't know every cultural thing that was happening there. You know, having been born here, I was seen as very different. I was the only one that was born here of the whole family. So when I went back, they used to pour Chinese tea at dim sum, and I thought it was rude not to drink it. And I remember saying to my mother and parents, going, do you have to keep on drinking, because I really need to go to the toilet? But the trick is you put your hand over the cup, but I didn't know, you know.
Yes.
Politely drinking it and drinking it and drinking, going, would they please stop pouring? So there you are. So that's one of my childhood memories now, but of drinking a lot of Chinese tea when you didn't need to.
What about you, Kamini? Have you been over to India a lot?
Yeah, we've been over. We're fortunate enough to have been over a good few times. Like we went over for all my cousins' weddings and things like that. So we got the experience that. The first time I went to India, I was 5 and my sister was 3 and my brother wasn't born. So like we've been going like since that age. The last time I was over was a couple of years ago. It was my cousin's wedding, and he was getting married the day after Christmas. So we spent the whole Christmas over there. But of course, Indian weddings are crazy. Like I think personally there's a lot of similarities between Indian families and Irish families.
Okay.
I think well my Indian family, like I love the fact that like the elder, like the granny and grandpa is like the head of the family, exactly the way it is here and exactly the way it is over here. And I love the way like all the younger people treat the elder people. Like they've got so much respect for them, the same as Irish and Indian families are the same. And my family loves a good party, my Irish family, and so does the Indian family. So I was happy for them similarities too as well. But I love going to India. I love being able to say that I can go, that I am one of those lucky people that are able to, like, to go across the waters, and I have a whole family over there and a whole different culture. Like when we go over, we go to Tripoli too as well, which is up like a big hill. It's like a pilgrimage as well, and we do all that as well, and we go to all the temples and things too. So
I'm very lucky. Very lucky.
Very lucky. And I keep telling my friends, like, you need to come with me, and they keep saying, yeah, we'll come now, but nobody can even get into at the minute.
No.
So
No, they've just overtaken Brazil and the
I know.
What would you prefer, a Ceilidh or a Bollywood dance?
Oh, I don't know. Like we do Bollywood dancing with all our youth group and stuff here, and I love it, and they love it too. I don't know. No, definitely Bollywood. The costumes, like the dresses, are nicer.
Oh, I know. Yeah, gorgeous, and there's more hip action. Because there's definitely more hip action.
Definitely. But no, like that's what I look like. I bring home like loads of clothes and stuff as well for you know, because we do the Diwali project here with Becca, so it usually starts now around September, and we'll like do 6 or 7 weeks in the schools, teaching them about the Indian culture and teaching them about Diwali and the story behind Diwali, and they come together at the end of it. So we go into 6 schools, and we usually work with over 250 children. And at the end of it, they give their like interpretation of what Diwali is and stuff like that. And every single child has, we like give them Indian clothing, so every single child like has Indian clothes. If you go up the stairs in this office, there's thousands of costumes up the stairs.
Do you know, it's actually amazing how great Northern Ireland is, and how it welcomes so many people from different cultures and traditions here. And yet we only ever hear the negative side. And yet my parents' experience and Dolly's experience generally has been very, very good. And I think that's one of the things that we need to promote. But I also think it's to do with the fact that my parents' generation, when they came here, I mean, I say my parents came here 10 years before the Troubles started. And one of the wisest decisions that our parents made is they didn't pick sides. They didn't say one's right and one's wrong. They just focused on the fact that there was so much hurt caused, and they were more sympathetic. And that was a wise decision, because you can get drawn in very easily to the situation here. And the best thing is just be open and welcoming and accepting of both sort of pain, because they all suffered. And I think that's why we are so much, we sort of tend to, that's why we tend to assimilate it. And also, I think one of the things that was interesting is the struggle that Dolly G mentioned, which was having to feel so isolated. And I think that has a lot to do with one of the reasons, why our parents' generation had to integrate, is because they couldn't. They didn't have a community that was close at hand to them. You had to get into a car and drive to see. So I remember my parents getting into a car to go and drive and see Munilal Uncle, or go and see, you know, Shukla Uncle, or go and see whoever, or go and see Mrs. Jordan, or go and see. It was always about getting into a car. But we all, our parents' generation did such a good job in how they integrated and into this society. They did try to hold on to their traditions and their cultures, and they did try to keep their children as part of it. And that was a struggle in itself. But overall, I think our parents' generation did a fantastic job in how they integrated in society. And for me, anybody like who's been here since the Good Friday Agreement in Northern Ireland, my advice is just don't get involved in their historical argument, and stick to being giving what's best about our community to all the community, to both communities here. I think that's one of the reasons that we're so successful.
Can I just say, Eileen,
Eileen,
sorry, I have to actually go and pick my kid at the 3/4 past.
Yes, I'm just going to bring this to a close, and it's been wonderful having you all speak. We could talk forever. Our journey is much longer than that. But just one last note, I just wanted to say and ask you, what are your feelings about Northern Ireland? Is this place your home?
Actually, I do, yeah, feel, because I'm here 17 years now. So I actually feel like even when we go to India, yes, I love to go to India. We go every other year now, we go to India. But, you know, like when you come back and come to Dunmurry, enter my house, I just feel like I'm back home, you know. That's my feeling at the moment. Maybe because I'm staying here longer than what I in my own house in India at the moment. So could be that the reason. But anyway, I just love to come back. And then people are friendly, and you know, as you said, whenever I came here, I was really, really shocked hearing the different accent. Even though I know the English, I couldn't even understand anything. The accent and the particular words like chiriyu, makkar, and all those things, I never even heard about it.
You never heard of what's the crack?
What's the crack?
Yeah. All those, you know, like
expressions.
Yeah, the expressions, but people are very friendly. I was so glad, you know, like I was here, and then people really welcomed you, even though when you came a completely different place. And I have no idea about Belfast at all those times. So because I was just, I know even though I was in India, I was very bad in general knowledge those times. I have no idea anything about what's going on in Belfast. When I said, when I was working in Bombay, I told one of the doctor, I'm going to Belfast, and they said, why, you're crazy? Why are you going to Belfast? That's same like our Kashmir in India. And I said, you know, like, I have no idea anything about Belfast. I just decided, yes, I'm going. I already got the job and I'm going. So currently I'm working as a deputy sister in Musgrave Hospital. So I'm actually pretty enjoying in here.
Good.
And my kids loves to here as well. So it's quite hard for me to settle in one place. So that's why I don't really like to keep moving.
Yeah, so it's great to hear that you feel this is your home.
You know, Eileen, can I say something? You asked, do you feel like if Northern Ireland is your home?
Yeah.
So I can tell you frankly, for a long, long time, I never felt. Then I'll be proudly say, Northern Ireland will be my home. Now I can say freely to everybody, this is my home.
Can I just leave?
Because once the root goes, your roots goes inside the root, you have to be there. I have got my children, I have got my grandchildren, I have got my family, all my family are here. So not that, but I do like the people, I do like the country. So this is my home.
Is it okay, I leave?
Yes, it is.
Bye, Simi.
Bye. Sorry, I had to leave because I know it was at 2 o'clock and I know my daughter finished at 3:15, so I had to go and collect her.
Okay.
It's okay. The conversation has been rolling. Thank you, Simi, for taking part. We could have spoken for hours, I'm sure.
I know.
Nice to meet you,
Thank you
Simi.
meeting you all.
Yes.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye, bye.
Dolly, it's great that you feel that this is your home, you know, especially when you first came here and you were so unsettled.
Yes.
For such a long time. It's wonderful to hear that you feel that this place now is your home. What makes it special to you, Dolly?
You mean in India or here?
Here.
Yeah.
Why is Northern Ireland special to you now?
Oh God, man, I'm sure. I don't know what to say. I live for the community. I have been working for the community since 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
I have got an award for Belfast Council, from Lisbon Council, and from some other activity. I don't know what to say, but I am, until the lockdown started, I keep myself very busy with the community. I love the people. That's why I told you that I can say, this is my home.
Yeah.
It is, you know, really, the Irish people, I think Irish people are the best in the world, I can say. Because I have traveled a lot. When my husband there, not now. I have traveled quite a lot of countries. But at the end, I come back to Northern Ireland. I can say proudly today, this is my home.
Yeah.
Great, Dolly. No, you definitely live up to your name, Dolly. You're as beautiful as a doll every day. Dolly doesn't like to tell us her age, but you can guess she's been doing 20 years after retirement to be still hearing. So this keeps her young. So amazing, Dolly. So, Kamini, do you feel like this is your home? I know you were born here, but does it feel like home?
Yeah, like it does. Like we all live really close beside each other. Strabhan's not a big place, so we all live close beside each other. My granny and my granda, like they're all still living, all my cousins and my aunties. But I still love going to India. If I got to spend more time there, I would call it my second home. But obviously, like I don't get to go as much now because I'm working and stuff. So I run the ethnic group in Strabhan. So I be out working in the community. This was my dad's group, and he retired, so I took over from him. So I've been doing this for the past 6 years now.
Great.
So I've been doing like probably not as much as what Dolly has been doing, but hopefully I could get there sometime. But I love Northern Ireland. I love the way, like, especially like Strabane, like, or like, it's a small town, but it's became so diverse. The like Strabane people are so accepting, so very accepting. Like, when we like hold all our projects or like festival nights, like there's so many local people, not just like Indian people or other ethnic minorities come. And like everybody in Strabane wants to take a part. Like, we do a Indian fashion show, and nearly every single model is from Strabane. They're Irish. They're from Northern Ireland. So I don't know, like I just love the way like people are able to celebrate like different cultures, and especially the younger people. They're so interested in it. When I go into the schools and things like that, they'd be so excited just to learn about something different, just to learn about a different culture. So no, I love living in Northern Ireland. I love living in Strabane. I know it's a really, really small town, and sometimes I'm like, why here? Why not India? But I don't think I would ever change it. Not for the world, no.
No, you've totally inspired me, Kamini. You've brought me back to my youth. About over 30 years ago, I was doing fashion shows and working for the community. I've ended up doing inclusion diversity training for our services, and, promote diversity that way. But it's great to hear it's still going on 30 odd years later.
It's nice to see that you see it as home. I mean, home is where the heart is. I mean, my mum and dad always considered this their home, and the only time that they ever said they were going to go home was when they died and their ashes were taken back to the Ganges, and both of them did. But mum would go to India and couldn't wait to get back. You know, she'd look forward to coming back, because after a while it gets tiresome. You get used to a certain life and a certain way of living. But for us, it's very much only ever been a home. I can't really see it any other way. And you were saying, Kamini, about the whole way that you sort of find Strabane is, and about how accepting they are. I feel exactly the same way. I was raised in East Belfast, and we lived amongst people who, I mean, I was singing Irish folk festivals, from the age of like 10. So that was freaking people out, because it was brown face singing Irish folk songs. But then on the other hand, I had people who were part of the bands in the 12th, and we would be going to support that community as well. So it was always about reaching out, and they all reached back. That was another thing that was really important. I think it's important for people who come into Northern Ireland have to understand that they need to also want to reach towards the people that they're settling with, and embrace their traditions and embrace their cultures. Whether that comes from a Protestant tradition or a Catholic tradition or an Irish or whatever, it has to, we have to learn to embrace it, so that they feel that we are accepting of them they accept us. So it's always been like, my dad's attitude was it's always a two-way street. So I think because of that, and because we love the people that we have grown up with, that they equally love us back, and we're not seen in any way as a threat to their tradition. And that's why I think we understand how important it is to respect people's culture. Whether that's from a Protestant or a Catholic background, you learn to respect their culture, and whatever that might be to them, it's theirs and it's important to them, and they in turn automatically then have given us that respect, and they respect the valley and all of those things. And mostly I think it's because as long as nothing ever clashes, and none of the cultural practices or the traditions clash with what is written in law, then we're all good. I think everybody is able to mix quite easily if we respect each other's.
Belfast, don't forget, Belfast is changing though. It has become a culture of diversity.
Kanji.
Because there are so many people, different culture here now.
Yes.
People have also changed, but it was not like that before when I came.
No.
No, it was all different, but now we are accepting. They are accepting us slowly, and especially the young generation.
I think that's what's important though, is that even as our society becomes more diverse,
Yes.
We have to always respect the fact that because to me Northern Ireland is very different from Scotland and Wales and England.
Oh, yes,
Totally
yes.
different. And
Oh.
it's because of their troubled history.
Yes.
That one of the things that I always am worried is that was people come to Northern Ireland to settle, that they're not aware of the pain that the two communities went through.
Yes.
If they're not aware of it, then they can't be as they can't take considered decisions.
Yes, yes.
And that's not necessarily a good thing.
You know, but well, it is changing. It has become a different. As I said, different people are living there, all different culture. We are all celebrating Diwali, the different events. They are coming, joining us. I think what I want to say, we are accepted. They have accepted us better than before. We have, because we are mixing together, and the young generation, we are different. My children are different. Then my grandchildren, they are growing up. They are all different. They are a different generation altogether. They don't care what color of our skin or what they eat. Even Indian food, they are accepting us. They love Indian food now, but not before though. You ask a senior person, they will think twice to try Indian or curry. But young generation, they just love it.
Yeah.
There are so many Indian restaurants in Belfast now. Every street, there are Indian restaurants. And they're just full of Irish people or local people or whatever. They just love it. They enjoy it. And intercaste marriage, Lata will know, who will know better than Lata. They're getting married. They don't care. They don't bother whether we are Indians, whether we are from a different culture, or they don't mind at all. I think it is nice to see like that.
It is nice to see. I think it's important how Eileen and I have sat and talked about this. I remember that day we met and we talked about it for ages, but it's really important for all of us to be able to recognise what is great about Northern Ireland and not focus on the negative side, as some people would want to drag you into. And I tend to find that that's where I'm very conscious of not being dragged into the historical arguments and stay away from that and just focus on policies and things like that. Because I think one of the mistakes that can be had is that if we fall into the trap of thinking we should be picking a side of a historical argument. I remember somebody trying to drag me into it, and I said, whoa, I said, I don't come from your history. I come from a different history, so I'm not going to make a decision. I said, I can understand your emotional reasons for wanting for me to make that decision. I said, but I can't make that decision because I don't have an emotional connection to it. But what I will say is, I do know what's right and wrong. And, but I think that's, for me, what the difference is about Northern Ireland is we have to enjoy what Northern Ireland has as a whole. And Northern Irish people have been incredibly welcoming to, Dolly's generation, my parents' generation. They were fantastically accepting of it. And actually, what's interesting is in our community, there are a lot of mixed marriages in the true sense of the word. As in Indian girls have married locally and Indian guys have married locally. So we have really integrated very well. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that we had such a small community here. You know what I mean? It was honestly, you look at the small community and I remember saying to my mum, actually, because she was when I eventually told her about Paul, and she just said to me, could you not have found an Indian, Mum? And I went, there are no bloody Indians here, Mum. I think I went out with one Indian guy, and that was it. And that didn't last long.
Nobody.
My uncles from Monday are constantly ringing Daddy. Like, when is she getting married? Like, I'm next. When is she getting married? When is she getting married? And he's like, I'm not going to force her to get married. She doesn't want to get married. She doesn't have to get married. And they're like, no, she needs to get married. We have to find her someone to get married to now. And I'm like, Dad, I just hang up the phone. Tell them no. It's so crazy, but the way my dad's opinion, he's became. Even my cousin said to me how much he used to be really, really, really strict, and since obviously living here and like obviously bringing like two girls and and a boy up in like a Northern Irish society is completely different to what an Indian like
Yeah.
society would be. Like they're far stricter. Like my cousins were like, we can't believe how much your dad lets you get let you get away with. Even the way we talk to daddy, like we will have a joke with them, and like we give each other like stick, like and they don't do that over, and they'd be like, they're like staring, being like, we can't believe you said that and all. And I'm like, why? But it's just the way it is here. Like it's just the way. Like, but even like the fact in that, like he's just like, no, I'm not going to force her to get married, and he's like, I married a white girl, so I'm going to let her make her own decision and things like that. So he's the only one out of all his family that everybody else had arranged marriages. So he was the only one that didn't.
Right.
So they're like sort of trying. I think like most of my cousins had arranged marriages as well, so they're trying to push me down that route, and then it'll be my sister next. So we're just like, no way at all.
So I'm going to have to bring this chat to an end.
You know, the only thing missing, Eileen, the only thing missing was a wee glass of wine or a cup of tea.
Yes.
We should have had a glass of wine and a cup of tea.
Yeah. It will be lovely. It will be very nice. Yeah. Red wine, glass of red wine.
That's very born Irish. Have a bit of wine at this time. Yeah, next time we'll have a cuppa or a glass of wine or whatever. But it's been great hearing your stories. You have made this program journey, I think, from all your memories and thoughts and your names to where we are, from India to Northern Ireland, and it's great that this place is your home. You make me feel very much at home. Although I was born here, I have a second home in Hong Kong, as I call it. And when my father was very, very ill, and he was under the influence of medication, and when we went to visit him, he used to say, Eileen, you know, how was Lauren today? And I would be going, Dad, we're not in Carrickfergus. You know, if you look out the window, you know, it's the scenes of Hong Kong. But no, that's because when he worked here, those were his memories, and very fond memories. He's still alive, but you know, this is what I'm saying. Northern Ireland really is something to us, and I'm glad we're all here. I'm glad to hear your stories. I feel very much connected to you, and all I know to say is thank you and namaste.
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 I'm just going to stop this program here.